Something feels off at Walmart. Not in one store. Not in one aisle. Across the experience, customers keep saying the same thing. Shopping feels harder, slower, and more frustrating than it should be. And when that feeling starts showing up again and again, it stops sounding like random bad luck. It starts sounding like a pattern. That pattern matters because Walmart is not just any store. For millions of people, it is the default stop for groceries, household basics, prescriptions, and last-minute essentials. So when shoppers begin talking about delays, locked products, confusing checkout changes, and poor service, the frustration lands harder. It hits trust. And the numbers suggest this tension has been building for a while. In the American Customer Satisfaction Index's retail study, Walmart's supermarket score came in at 73 in 2024. That was near the bottom. It improved to 75 in 2025, but it still lagged much of the field. That is not a collapse. It is a warning light. Because the complaints are not just about price anymore. They are about the trip itself. People walk in expecting convenience, and they run into friction instead. Start with checkout. Walmart has acknowledged that self-checkout is no longer a one-size-fits-all setup. Some stores open it, some close it, some change it based on staffing and traffic. And for customers, that can feel like the rules changed overnight. One visit is fast, the next is not. One store lets you scan and go. Another sends you into a longer line. That inconsistency creates confusion fast. Then there is the broader shift happening in stores. Walmart has removed self-checkout kiosks at select locations and moved back toward more associate-staffed lanes in some cases. The idea may be smoother service, but in real life, the transition can feel messy. Longer lines, more waiting, more guessing, and more customers asking a simple question: why is this getting slower? That question keeps showing up because the pressure on stores has changed. Retail theft and shrink concerns have pushed companies to harden their defenses. The National Retail Federation reported big jumps in shoplifting incidents compared with 2019, along with a major increase in losses. So retailers are reacting, but every new layer of security has a cost. And often, honest shoppers pay it first. That is where the frustration really spikes. Locked cases, waiting for an associate, searching for someone with a key, standing around for toothpaste, deodorant, or detergent like it is a restricted item. What used to be a quick grab can suddenly become a small ordeal. And that is exactly why so many shoppers describe the experience as feeling less like retail and more like being monitored. That is the shift. Not just inconvenience, a change in atmosphere. The store starts to feel less welcoming and more defensive. And once shoppers feel that, every problem gets magnified. A slow checkout becomes proof. A locked cabinet becomes proof. A missing associate becomes proof. Suddenly, every little friction point feels connected. And that is where Walmart's satisfaction numbers matter again. Because low scores are not just abstract rankings. They are a summary of thousands of everyday moments. The long wait, the broken process, the unanswered question. The feeling that the store is working against the customer instead of for them. Walmart's own response shows the tension clearly. The company has pointed to value. It has talked about rollbacks. It has promoted lower prices and holiday deals. And those messages matter. Price still matters a lot. But price alone does not erase a bad shopping experience. A cheap item does not feel cheap when it is locked behind glass. A rollback does not feel like a win when checkout takes twice as long. That is why this story keeps growing. It is not one complaint. It is the accumulation of them. And the accumulation changes the conversation. At first, customers say, "This was annoying." Then they say, "This keeps happening." Then they say, "Something is wrong here." That final step is the dangerous one. Because once a store reaches that point, the issue is no longer just service, it becomes credibility. There is also the problem of inconsistency from location to location. When Walmart says one store can handle checkout differently from another, customers do not hear flexibility. They hear uncertainty. They hear good luck because the experience may be different every time. That kind of unpredictability wears people down, especially regular shoppers, especially families on tight schedules, especially anyone who just wants a basic trip to stay basic. And the complaints do not stop at the register. Support matters too. In retail studies, checkout speed and call center satisfaction are among the weaker points of the experience. That tells you something important. When things go right, customers may not notice. But when something goes wrong, they notice immediately. And if the fix is slow, unclear, or hard to reach, the frustration doubles. That is why the problem is becoming bigger than a single store issue. It is about the whole feeling of shopping there. If the store is harder to navigate, harder to check out in, harder to get help in, and harder to trust, then the brand starts losing the thing that keeps people coming back. Confidence. And once confidence slips, every new policy is judged through that lens. A locked case does not look like safety, it looks like hassle. A changed checkout lane does not look efficient. It looks like another sign that customers are being asked to absorb the inconvenience. A stricter store does not always feel safer, it can feel colder. That is the core concern here. Not that Walmart is facing challenges. Every major retailer is. The concern is that customers are starting to believe the shopping experience itself is getting worse, and that feeling is sticking. That is why silence is risky. If the company does not clearly address the pattern, the backlash will keep filling in the blanks. Shoppers will assume the problems are permanent. They will assume the frustration is the new normal. And once that happens, rebuilding trust gets much harder. Walmart can still answer this. It can explain what is changing, why it is changing, and how it plans to make the experience faster and less hostile for everyday customers. But if the response is slow, vague, or disconnected from what shoppers are actually feeling, the damage will keep spreading. Because this is no longer just about one bad trip. It is about a growing belief that the experience is slipping. And when that belief takes hold, it becomes a retail problem and a reputation problem. So yes, the prices may still be low, but if the frustration keeps rising, customers may decide the hidden cost is too high. Share your Walmart story below so we can map the pattern.